good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Alright, so we have a honest trailer for Final Fantasy 15. I made a video before for Final Fantasy X / kind of X2. So if you saw that, you'll know that, like I said, the Final Fantasy games aren't necessarily my favorite game. I mean, they're beautiful, and love the cutscenes and stories and whatnot. And I love the Final Fantasy movies, be it The Spirits Within, which I know a lot of people don't like, or Advent Children, of course, from Final Fantasy VII. But as far as gameplay, just I guess never liked the traditional Japanese RPG. I mean, there's some I like, but Final Fantasy's never grabbed me. Anyways, let's see what they have to say.
The following trailer is rated H for honest. From one of the pioneers of the RPG genre and one of the most storied franchises in video game history comes a game over a decade in the making. That finally delivered on the ultimate potential of Final Fantasy. An open world game where you take a road trip with a Japanese boy band. Final Fantasy Versus 13. 15. Journey to a magical realm that's got all the epic majesty you expect from a Final Fantasy game.
Like I said, they're
mixed
beautiful.
with a bizarre dose of mundane realism as you spend half the game driving a car from place to place, getting plot points on your cell phone, stopping for gas, finding a place to sleep, and watching the characters play mobile games. While the other half is slaying giant fantasy monsters with magic teleport powers. In a fantasy world that feels as disjointed as it possibly could. And that's before they start breaking the fourth wall.
This is like a real-life RPG.
Slip into the designer cargo pants of Noctis Lucius, a brooding emo prince from the appropriately goth city of Insomnia, whose name is basically Latin for nightlight. Then discover the true meaning of bromance as you set off on a dudes-only journey with him and his merry men. A collection of anime tropes with barely any backstory, but who have so much screen time and personality, you'll care about them way more than the girl you're supposed to be in love with. Homies, dudes, and players before Lady Luna Freyas, am I right?
Woohoo! About time!
Easy there, big guy. Dive into a full-on multimedia Final Fantasy experience, including mobile games, animes, and a feature-length film, all of which they apparently expected you to get into before you played the game, as they skip most of the standard exposition, character, and world building, and dump you right into the middle of the plot, then break up every major story moment with 5 hours of hunting, side questing, and discovering new recipes.
I've come up with a new recipe.
Until you can barely remember why or what you're doing anymore. Then watch as they figure it out 2/3 of the way through the game, and strap you into an incredibly linear path for the last few hours, making you push through one more Ultimate Evil versus Jesus surrogate with crystal power storyline that's as predictable as it is depressing, before you can get back to the good stuff. Literally everything else.
You did good.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about. Tolerate Final Fantasy XV's combat system. A beautiful cluster of swords, teleport effects, and monster bodies that tries to Kingdom Hearts up the standard Final Fantasy combat.
I played the demo,
but just ends up devolving into chaos whenever there are more than 3 enemies. And where most fights are either so easy you can win them by mashing a single button, or so hard they will instantly hand you your ass, and you'll be forced to spam the same 3 link strikes, slap it with your armature weapons a million times, and toss all of your weird magic grenades, until a summon finally decides to show up and crush it in a single hit. Or you just grind your way through by spamming potions like an addict, and eventually just slop your way through the entire game, because we all know what you're really here for anyway. Lovingly rendered fantasy soup. So jump in your awesome whip, crank up the Backstreet Boys, and discover a unique experience that has ups, downs, and genuine surprises that will make you sit back and wonder, how awesome would this thing be if they had actually finished it? Starring Dark Cloud, Guy Fieri, Skater Boy, #Daddy, One Winged Asshole, Another Sean Bites the Dust, Work That Core, Unifreya, Kyrie, Lady Kane, full fan service, Too Old for This Sid, Forrest Whitaker, unexpected stereotype, and that one dude from Lost. Entourage 15. Okay, Cup Noodle, I get it. You clearly paid a lot of money for this.
Makes you appreciate how delicious these noodles really are.
I know I sure do.
Be sure to subscribe for more honest game trailers and tell me what.
Goodness. Okay then. Well, again, as I said, gameplay-wise, Final Fantasy, I don't really care. But again, they're just so gorgeous to look at. I know when I like MMORPGs as well, a little bit I play here or there of them. And I remember back in the day, God, that sounds old. I had a PS2, of course, and I got the broadband connector. And I remember when Final Fantasy 11 came out. One of the guys I worked with when I worked for Books a Million years ago. This was 2001, 2003, years ago. It came out on PC and then on PS2, and I thought about getting it for that because I bought like the strategy guide type thing and I just loved all the art and stuff and just imagining being in. And of course, I watched videos and stuff. I never got to play it. I actually got it from my computer, downloaded it. It worked for like 15 minutes, and then I guess my computer sucked, so it didn't. And I never got the PS. Got the one for the broadband. I ended up getting the broadband, but I never got Final Fantasy 11 because of the hard drive thing, which was ridiculous and everything. But anyways, I digress. I got EverQuest Online Adventures instead, which I love. But anyways, but I just remember again that world. Imagine being in it, the artwork. It's just art, to say the least. And then when Final Fantasy 14 came out, I was one of the beta testers on PS3 for it, and I got to play it I got on the very end of the beta test, so only like a couple days I got to actually fool around with it. And again, I thought about getting it, but as with most MMOs I play, I only get to play it here or there, so it's not really worth the subscription fee or whatnot. At least and I digress, this has gone into a completely different thing, but at least that's one of the things I loved about EVE Online, that at least, you could train your stuff while you were gone in real time. And the one game I still occasionally pop my head into every now and then, Neverwinter. They had the app at one point, the gateway, where, from my computer, my laptop, whatever, I could at least, do some crafting and get a couple points and this and that, which was awesome until they closed it, whatever. But, like I said, total digress. But again, Final Fantasy has always had, the world have been so beautiful and the stories immersive, and, like I said, if we ever came to a world like Sword Art Online where, we could get truly be more into it, like virtual, and I'm sure Final Fantasy will take advantage of that if they perfect it or more. I could see myself, going into that, But anyways, I completely digressed on it. Anyways, that was my review reaction of the honest trailer for Final Fantasy 15 versus 13. Actually, it's 10 years. It's just ridiculous when you think about it. But anyways, like, dislike, subscribe, share, leave your comments. Appreciate it. Peace.